Great. I'll tell you about myself in just a minute. I just also want to say thank you. I know this is like the Southwest Airlines. We know you have lots of airlines to travel, and we have a lot of breakout sessions to go to, so thank you for coming to mine. Okay, as we jump in here, what do practice owners want? As practice owners, you want a predictable pipeline of new client leads coming to your practice. Yeah, there you go. That's what you want. The problem is, and the problem that we're looking to solve today, is that many practice owners don't have a sales funnel or a marketing system. They're kind of interchangeable. And they don't have one that consistently drives those new client leads to their practice. Or you might have a sales funnel, but it's broken and you don't know how to fix it. Even worse, marketing today isn't easy. Showing up on page 1 of Google has been really necessary for a lot of practice owners in the past 15 years. However, there's a lot more competition now. People have wised up to SEO, and you also have big directory websites like Psychology Today, ThriveWorks, Good Therapy, and you have a lot of these telehealth companies like BetterHealth, Headspace, Talkspace. They're all doing their own SEO work, and you're getting pushed lower and lower and lower down on Google. I don't know if you've noticed this lately, but Google's also been testing out generative search results, which is at the very top. And so by the time most organic local businesses are at the very bottom, almost to the graveyard, which is the second page of Google. So the reality is now more than ever, practice owners need a powerful sales funnel that incorporates both digital and organic marketing strategies, and for your website to be working for you 24/7 as your top sales agent. And this is the reality for most practice owners today. If you don't have a sales funnel, you won't grow. You won't. When I partner with practice owners, so part of Brand Your Practice, what I've done in the last several years, is I go in and set up a sales funnel for them. And my ultimate goal for that sales funnel is for them to become the #1 trusted practice in their community for that particular niche that they serve. And I want to do this as quickly as possible when I work with my partnership clients. And so today, I'm really just giving you a behind-the-scenes look kind of at my playbook and how I do it. 7 years ago, my wife came home from the practice. She was getting her hours in. She was pre-licensed. And she came home and she said, "Brent, I want to start my own private practice. I want to focus on kids ages 2 to 12, and I want it to be 100% private pay." She didn't want to deal with insurance. My wife was 6 months pregnant with that little guy at the time. We had twin girls, so that's 3 kids under 3. I didn't have a marketing degree. I never started a business before. We didn't have money for someone to build us a website or a sales funnel. I didn't know what a sales funnel was back then. We wanted to live in Chicagoland, be close to family, and for those who know about metropolitan areas like Chicagoland, you really need 2 incomes to kind of make it work, especially if you have a family. We were starting from scratch, and we really had to make this business work because we couldn't live on my salary alone at that time. So, like many of you, as you start to if you go back to the days when you're starting your practice, you were waking up at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., anxious, lots of ideas flowing through your head, like, how am I going to do this? I need to do some marketing. So you go to YouTube, you start reading books and downloading all the information you can. That's what was going on with me for the 6-7 months leading up to when we launched it. I knew that video had to be a really important part of our sales funnel, because video, as I'll talk about later, is the fastest way for someone to know, like, and trust you. And if we were going to be private pay in that community, we needed to have video, but I had no idea how to do video. I didn't know how to do edits or anything. I didn't know anything about SEO, but I learned, and for several months, that's what I obsessed about. And today, is my beautiful family. That's my mini-me, Simeon. He's just like me. And our twin girls. So today, Kid Matters Counseling is up to 11 clinicians. We just went through a hiring spree. It's still 100% private pay. It's over $1 million in revenue and over 3,000 email subscribers. And that's all part of building a sales funnel. And the email subscriber is going to be a big part of it. Also, since then, I learned a set of skills that other practice owners wanted. So I went and launched over 12 other private practices across the country and partnered and scaled them up. And really my mission is really to help launch, grow, and scale 10,000 private practices by 2030. And through these different entities, Play Therapy Toolbox is e-courses for play therapists. That's something my wife and I do. Therasash, I'll talk about in a minute. That's an intake CRM. The Private Pay Practice, I've partnered with Dr. Deb Legge for those who want to start or grow a private pay practice. And there's even more wanting to do that after the clearinghouse debacle, where many people weren't paid for several months. And then Brand Your Practice, which is my service side. A little bit more about me and then I'll jump in. I consider myself a full stack marketer, and what that means is I've done the SEO, I've built WordPress websites, I've done Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads. I've kind of done all the ads things, so I know what works and doesn't usually work. But I'm a full stack content creator. I've done YouTube videos, I've vlogged, I've created podcasts, I've been on podcasts, I've done webinars, all those things. And kind of supporting all that is I'm also a certified story brand guide. All right, so the plan today is that first I'm going to teach you really the basic elements of a sales funnel and what you need to start building your own. The second part of our time today is going to be a question and answer time, and then I'm going to give you a ton of free resources. And then the third, I'm just going to do a very short demo of Therasash CRM with some special pricing for those who are attending just right now in this room. But a lot of times people are like, I don't even know what a CRM looks like. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of what a CRM looks like. At least my CRM. All right, creating your sales funnel. All right, what is a sales funnel? Sales funnel is a marketing strategy that guides potential clients, through a series of steps with the end goal of converting them into paying clients. The sales funnel includes three major stages: the curiosity stage, the enlightenment stage, and the commitment stage. So in the curiosity stage, the client is asking, can you solve my problem? Can you solve my problem? In the enlightenment stage of the funnel, if they answer yes, the client will move down and they will consume more of your content because they are now asking, can I trust you? And this is really important for mental health because they are like asking, can I trust you with the most intimate details of my life? So your website and specifically has to be creating trust. And if they say, yes, you can solve my problem and I trust you to do that, this is the commitment stage, which is the take my money stage, is what I call it. There are really three main assets to a sales funnel. You could have more, but I think there's just three. One is your brand message. These are the words that you use to talk about the problems you solve for your clients. And I'll share more about this in a minute. The second part of a sales funnel is your homepage. You need a well-designed, scannable website, not a ton of text, right? But talking about the problems you solve and the services you offer. People come to your website because they have a problem, and you have to convince them that you're the one to solve it. The third part is really a lead generator or a lead magnet and an email campaign that accompany it. So a lead generator is really a free resource that you give away to capture somebody's email address, and then you can nurture that relationship on autopilot through email. So every potential client is asking when they engage with your brand, can you solve my problem? This is the curiosity stage of the sales funnel. It's really about piquing the potential client's interest by answering their most pressing questions about the problems they're trying to solve. If you can succinctly and clearly answer the question, can you solve my problem, you have hooked the potential client and they're going to move down into the funnel, into the enlightenment stage. So let's spend a little time in that curiosity section here. We're going to talk about let me actually just show you this real quick. So here's the stage of the sales funnel. The website focus, I call this like the backbone of your sales funnel is going to be your website. And these are the marketing channels, is sort of like how do you drive traffic to it, okay? So what is a brand message? A brand message is sort of like a movie script. No movie is created without a script. The screenplay or the movie provides the words that are going to give the directions for the movie. Where's the action? Where's the mystery? Where's the suspense? Scripts also detail how many actors you're going to need. It's going to provide guidance and inspiration on set design, location shooting, costume design, and what type of lighting that might be needed, even props. Producers will not hire directors or actors, set designers, anybody until they have a script. It all starts with the word. So I want you to imagine what it would be like to create a movie if you didn't have a script. You'd just be working backwards. It'd be an absolute disaster. Your brand message plays the same part in your marketing. So many practice owners will create a website without having a clear brand message. And what happens is you have confusing websites. I look at therapy websites all the time, And a lot of times they don't even mention that they provide counseling. On that header, they don't even mention it. They don't even mention that they are child therapists or couples counselors or anything like that. Therapy doesn't even exist on that header. It's like, well, that's an easy fix to do that. But that's because it didn't start with a brand message. And the brand message is really how you can help solve people's problems as it relates to your clinical expertise. It's the basis for your sales funnel. And I have a free resource that I'll share with you in a minute on how to get started with your own brand message. If you want to dive into brand messaging, I highly recommend Donald Miller's book, Building a Story Brand. It is the number one book that's made me the most money. Let's look at your homepage. For the curiosity in particular, you need to have a clear header. That's the very top portion of your website. And this, you have 3 seconds to answer 3 critical questions. Let's say 5 seconds to answer 3 critical questions. Can you solve my problem? I'll get to that. It's called the grunt test. Right? Hold on a second. I'll go back. Can you solve my problem? Right? That's the curiosity stage. And I mentioned therapists rarely mention on their website header that they're even counselors. So I want you to kind of think about your own website right now. Okay? This is the grunt test. This is from Donald Miller. And the idea is you have like 5 seconds for someone to be able to grunt out like a caveman. Like, it's so simple that a caveman can grunt this out. That's the idea. And the questions are this. Like, what does your practice do? How can you help the client? And how can they get started with counseling? You really have 5 seconds to do that, or less. If you don't do that, you will confuse them and they will bounce away from your website. See you later. So for example, here's my wife's website, Kid Matters Counseling. You got 5 seconds. Well, we're a child therapist counseling children ages 2 to 12. How can you help? Well, there's less anxiety and worry. Manage big emotions, confidently parent your child. How do I get started? Schedule an appointment. I also, here's a pro tip, have happy, smiley people on your website. The amount of times I see Lake Tahoe on therapist websites from people who might live in Kansas or anywhere, you don't even live near Lake Tahoe, whatever. Like, I see it all the time. You're not a travel agency. You're not selling trips to Lake Tahoe. What you want to have images on your website that reflect what transformation looks like for your client, right? So that's why we have happy, smiley kids on this one. Here's another example of a website I built. Counseling for a more connected family. Experienced family therapists and counselors. And here's your call to action. Schedule an appointment. Really simple. Am I in the right place? That's what they're asking, right? Can you solve my problem? All right, I do need counseling. So there's all these marketing channels you could look into to be able to drive traffic to your website and to pique people's curiosity on it. Can you solve their problem? You got your directories like Psychology Today, billboards. You could look at all this. But here, at the end of the day, what you should really focus on is, like, I call these like tier 1, is your Google business profile. It's really good for your SEO. It's easy SEO to get it going. If your here's another tip. If your business name doesn't have counseling or therapy or something in it, right now the way Google business profiles work, that is a keyword that is a ranking factor for your Google business profile. There are businesses, and I've done this with businesses, where they create DBAs that actually has that in it. So it may be worth creating a DBA just to have those keywords, because Google business profile is a hot mess. There's people who game it, but one way you can legitimately try to rank it is having therapy or counseling, because people look, counseling near me, therapist near me, therapy near me, marriage therapist near me. It's helpful to have that in the name. I actually had one when we launched a practice. We called it Bloom Child Therapists, because child therapist is a key word that ranks, and we're trying to play fair with Google. So, all right. Action items here. Create your brand message if you don't have one yet, and update your homepage header if you haven't. So, a couple resources, then we'll get to questions and answers. Free resource. So here's a brand script template and video. I spelled video wrong, so you don't have to point it out to me later. But this is the exact same template, Google Doc, that I use, and I'm going to share it with you. You'll be able to download all these things that I use to get the brand message going. Always start with the script. I also share a homepage wireframe template that you can take that brand message and start to plug plug it in, and then you can say, hey, Daniel, I have the wireframe. You can build my WordPress website. So no thumbs up back there. Web designers love it if you tell them what words to place and where. And this is like an architectural drawing from your homepage, okay? I'm also give you another free resource, the Ultimate Website Checklist for Therapists. And one thing I want to talk about is where to place your money at different stages of your practice. So I call it the child stage of a private practice when you're averaging $0 to $100,000 a year. Survival, right? So remember Casey's triangle, that profitability and client leads, how important that is. It's all about survival. So the sales funnel essentials is really your brand message and your homepage. And you could kind of break down maybe a budget at $500 a month around here. So you get a sales funnel, it could be like a one-time thing. Get a homepage video going, networking with local referral sources in the community, maybe build a website, Psychology Today, Google Ads. This is really rough, but when I go in to launch a practice, this is kind of what we're looking at for a budget. I'm going to stop there, drink some water. Do you have any questions on the curiosity stage? Yes. Yes, the brand message is like a script. So your brand voice can be in that. But this is really the words that you're going to use for maybe your video and things that you're going to place throughout your website. Maybe try to delete it and just start again. You could. I don't know. Like, I'm in the process now. A client of mine moved locations, and it was like very simple. She's gone on Google Maps unless you type in the exact name of her business. And it's like, and leads were drying up. I was like, we worked so hard. She moved, and so we're like, verify. What is going on? Yeah, it's an absolute crapshoot with Google. They don't care, and they care. They care about the money, but they don't really care about customer support on it. Yeah. I saw. Oh, was there a question back here? Yeah. There's design. Yeah. I usually, if you're going to put a lot of text, I put it towards the bottom of the page, because imagine how you got old scanned websites, right? You're like thumbs flipping like crazy, and you stop. Read, stop, right? So if you have a lot of text, people aren't going to read it. And so having bullet points, icons, a video, so they stop and scroll, those are all user signs to Google that your page is relevant because they're assuming you're consuming that information. So, but SEO's like another long talk. But it's a good question though. Have your H1s towards the top. Your H1 keywords, have them towards the top of your page. Let's jump into the enlightenment stage. During the enlightenment stage in the sales funnel, the potential client will consume more content to understand how you can help solve their problem, but ultimately they're asking, can I trust you? Again, your website serves as the backbone of your sales funnel and will be the primary driver to move clients from the enlightenment stage and eventually down into the commitment stage. And I think there's 6 ways your website can primarily accomplish this. Have a blog of some sort. I mean, it's good for SEO. SEO is changing a lot, but having so don't worry about so much about SEO when writing blogs. Write blogs about the problems you solve for people. But a blog is a great way to show your expertise and build that trust. I think videos are I said videos the fastest way for someone to know, like, and trust you. You want your website being your top sales agent. My favorite thing is when people go to the website for the clients, partnership clients that I have, and they select the therapist because of the video. People shop for their therapist like they do Amazon products. So you want to be able to, if you have a video, it's like, here's the product, right? And then a good video will attract your ideal client and repel those who aren't your ideal client. So you're just not even having to mess with those who aren't your ideal client. Right. Yeah. I think your profile videos could be 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Again, people will watch very long videos if you're helping them solve problems that they're having. So as long as you are talking about the problems you solve, and you'll keep their attention. Right? This is going back to StoryBrand. The story begins when the problem is introduced. Okay? So when the problem is solved in the movie's over, right? You got that closure. So talk about those problems. Let's see here. So I think there should be about 3 videos, at least 3 videos on your website. That's your homepage video. So take that brand script template that I'm going to share with you all, turn that into a video, okay? The second one is videos for your individual clinicians, because each one of your individual clinicians has a brand. You can turn those clinical skills into a brand, all right? And people will watch it, I promise you. Your about pages are going to be your second most visited pages on your website. And then I think you should have a thank you video. So this is after someone submits a form or whatever, they're redirected to another page where it says, thank you so much for taking this courageous step and seeking help and counseling. Here are the next 3 things that you can expect. And you're just going to give them a very simple plan, because most people don't know how counseling works. We assume they know how it works, but they have no idea. So that's a really simple way to just kind of hold their hand and keep it going. Reviews, like I said, people shop for their therapists like Amazon products. And when you shop Amazon products, what do you look first for? How many stars they have, and then you compare it to how many reviews those are associated with those stars, and then you start shopping, right? People will do the same thing. So reviews are important. Now, I know there's let me finish my point and I'll get to that question. Yeah. So I know there's ethical issues in asking clients for reviews. So what you do is you ask other colleagues. If you have friends here, ask them before you leave, can you leave me a 5-star review and say I'm an awesome therapist, okay? Something like that. Google doesn't care. Friends that can speak to your counseling skills. When we first started, my wife and I are part of a really wonderful church community, and they wanted to support us. And no joke, I was like, can I just have your phone and leave Susan a quick Google review? We were just getting started, right? We needed just to have 5 Google reviews just to look legit, right? So we had friends do it. When you hire clinicians for your practice, ask them to reach out to their friends and family. Just, can you leave a 5-star review? It could be helpful. The tide rises all ships in that situation. If you look at Kid Matters, I think we have over 150 Google reviews. You don't need that many. You just need 5 more than your next level of competition, okay? And then ask event hosts. So I could say, hey, Emily, if I did a good, Laura, it was Laura. Hey, in the back, hey, if I did a good job, could you leave a 5-star review for me for my presentation today? Find ways to do that. I had a question back here, then I'll get to this one. Yeah, go. I use third-party Vimeo. You could do it on YouTube, but YouTube's algorithm, it gets me every time. It's going to recommend videos and take people away from your website. So I would use something like Vimeo or something like that. Yeah, it's hosted elsewhere. If you have a great website provider, server, then it can handle that, but that's what I do. Yeah. You can't even ask friends or family. Yeah. Do you do a lot of speaking? Could you ask Steve Porches? You can talk to Google support if you can get a hold of them and say that's legitimate, that's okay. There was a massive scam coming out of India for restaurants in the last year that would say, I'm going to give you a 1-star review unless you send me a $100 gift card. And my family needs your money. We are so desperate. Massive scam out of India. Just hitting restaurants left and right. And restaurants they need those Google reviews to survive. Yeah, it was wild. And here's the other thing. It only takes one person to leave a 1-star review. And then when someone finds your Google business page, you got a 1-star review. And you know how people shop for therapists. So it's almost like brand protection a little bit. A lot of people don't even read the reviews. They just see how many stars you have, and then they click on your website. And then you got them. Okay, so a branded newsletter is a regular communication sent to a subscribed audience, typically featuring new blog posts or tips, new hires, or valuable content. Again, content that helps them solve problems that they are experiencing. And if you consistently do this, and personalize that communication, a branded email newsletter. It could be a beautiful design newsletter or a text email. That's totally fine. Either way, you're building that trust. If you subscribe to my newsletter, if you go out to the Therasas, you will be in my sales funnel, just full disclosure. You can almost experience what a sales funnel looks like in emails. So you could do that. Another side note, my wife and I had friends over for dinner. It was one of my boys' friends from school. We sat around our dinner table for 2 hours talking, having a really good time. And at the end, the mom said to my wife, Susan, she's like, I subscribe to your newsletter and I've watched every one of your videos. And we're like, oh, okay. And it was like, she already knew so much about Susan before coming to that dinner. It was kind of like an awkward, it was like kind of like a little awkward moment. But yeah, that it works. People read newsletters and they watch videos, it works. And so Susan, we've been working hard. How is Susan a trusted person in the community to help care for kids? So I will get to questions. Let me get through a few more here. A lead generator, where you talked a little bit about this. It's a pop-up on your website. You might be annoyed by pop-ups. They work. So you could have a pop-up or some sort of place where someone can download a checklist. People love checklists. So, and I'll show you some lead generators in just a second. But exchange a really nice. Now, don't be wimpy on your lead your lead magnet. Give them something weighty, where it builds that trust. None of the don't try not to do like a one-page checklist. Like really build it out. Okay, be thoughtful. Think of it as like a very long blog post. Okay, you can break it out. So, for example, one of my lead generators is marketing for therapists, a checklist and guide. Inside it looks. Here's another one. So, how to turn calls into clients. That's the one you can download right out there at Therasas. It's been a very successful lead generator for us. Again, it's giving really helpful tips for intake coordinators and practice owners how to sell your services. And then it leads to showing you why Therasas is a really great product to help you do that too. So here's the pop-up, 15 signs of childhood anxiety and how to help. It's really basic. Like, here's the checklist if your child might have anxiety. Here's a handful of tips to help your anxious child. Most likely, they won't be able to do it all by themselves as parents. They can help, but if not, we're here to help you. This is what it looks like, something that's really easy and beautifully designed. All right, so action items is to create a lead generator and systematize your referral outreach networking. All right, this is really important. This is the organic side of your sales funnel. I don't know if you all noticed, like March, February, there was a slowdown in leads, new client leads coming in across the country. All my clients, big slowdown. The ones who didn't have as much of a slowdown is who had developed a word-of-mouth network, trusted resources in the community. It's huge. So systematize that as best you can. Okay, so free resources. So you'll get access to Susan's lead gen. You can download it and see what it's like. Also, for that word of mouth, you'll have access to a simple Google Sheet that I used to use before Therasas to track referral sources. There's also, Deb Legge and I did a webinar on how to grow your practice with word of mouth marketing. We'll give you the link to that as well. I'm going to share briefly the teen stage, so this is about 100,000 to 350,000 in revenue. You're looking to build stability. So you have maybe 3 to 5 clinicians, and you're building out more of your marketing and sales system. So let's take your child marketing budget of 500, maybe do some local sponsorships like T-balls, get your name on the back of a T-ball team or something like that. You might need to hire a part-time intake coordinator. Intake coordinator is usually the first thing that practice owners are getting off of their plate because they've always done it and it's the scariest thing to do. And then maybe consider Therasas as an intake marketing CRM. Okay, any questions on the enlightenment stage of how can I trust you? Yeah. I put your your big main lead generator, if you focus on couples, put one on communication issues or, very simple, like how to stop fighting. Something like a checklist on how to stop fighting, right? How to stop hitting the nuke button every time you have an argument, right? But you could have one for each one of your services. Yeah, so the question is the content creation and kind of getting the ideas going. Yeah, ChatGPT. Easiest thing. Let me tell you why. I use it. We'll just Google how to get ideas for email and news. So
I put it in write a nurture campaign for this and it sucks.
Yeah, so you have writer's block. ChatGPT or AI is great for getting through writer's block. Just give me 50 ideas on how to work with ideal client, or for an email sequence, and just be like, I like that. Oh, and then you just develop it out.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Or here's this. There's tons of blog posts. Just Google it.
I'll put your numbers.
Yeah, just Google it and yeah. You can do it. Yeah. Question. You can. You don't have to, but you could. I would just start very simple. Either your main line of service or a secondary. Yeah. Yeah, you could get as complicated as you want in a segment. I usually just do one general one. Yeah. The next one is the commitment stage. Actually, there's a QR code. You can scan it and get it too in your book. This is the take my money stage. So you want to make it as easy as possible for someone to be able to schedule an appointment and get started. You would be surprised on how many websites don't have a call to action button that says schedule appointment or schedule a consultation. It's vanished. So people need to be told what to do. Give them that simple step. Okay, so give them a simple call to action button. So this is a short segment on here. So put a clear call to action on your website. One call to action. Either as call us to schedule or fill out this form to schedule. Whatever it might be, make it very, very clear. Make that button bright and a different color on your website. Okay, so it's very clear. It's like a cash register in a store. You want to make it easy to find that cash register.
Hey, Brent.
Yeah. Yeah, you can have a secondary call to action button that's like download this free resource if you want, but just try to keep it simple with one. Think of it as like a Macy's department store. They have cash registers all over the place, so you can make it by just not like one location. Okay, and then the second one is to track new client leads. And so I'll give you, if you're into Google Sheets, I'll give you a way you can download this template. Another thing is just the adult stage. This could be helpful. It's really, you're looking at sustainability at this point. So 350,000 to about 1 million plus. You might have about 7 clinicians. Your brand, that flywheel for marketing is starting to get going even more. You might need to hire a full-time intake coordinator or a marketing virtual assistant as well. Again, these are just kind of roughly numbers. So you might be spending between $2,500 to $5,000 a month in marketing, potentially. These are just rough numbers that I've seen, that I've done. Let's see, what time is it? Okay, we got a little time. I want to share just a quick thing on branding and why branding is so important and why a sales funnel is important to branding. So talking about expanding your brand moat. So for the reason why I wouldn't come to Louisville, Kentucky and start a new bourbon distillery, because there's so many of them, right? That brand moat, like Buffalo Trace, all these, huge brand moats. Same thing with Tesla. They got that brand moat, really. Apple, big brand moats. It's hard to come in and start a new electric car company or another laptop company like Apple, okay? So it's really that perceived barrier to entry is really high. So there's really kind of 3 stages of where people go when a problem arises. So the first stage is really the problem aware. So my marriage is in trouble. The solution aware is I need marriage counseling. The brand aware is Thrive Marriage Counseling helps couples. So what you really want is when someone knows that their marriage is in trouble, they actually skip this, I need marriage counseling. They're like, I need to go to Thrive Marriage Counseling to get help. That's the power of branding. That's where it's all going. So that's why a sales funnel is going to be important to that, because it builds that trust and that brand awareness. You get people on your email list, and then you have people come to your house for dinner and say, I already know so much about you. Okay, so that's the power of branding. This is why companies spend so much money on branding. If I need a new pair of running shoes, I'm probably going to get Nike or Adidas, because they're in my face all the time, right? It's that top of mind. So kind of some things in conclusion. It all starts with your sales funnel. You got to create a clear brand message, design a simple and clear website, and develop a lead generator to capture emails and nurture the relationship. And then you can use marketing channels to scale to the moon. People will recommend your services if they trust you, and people will buy your services if they trust you. And a sales funnel is the most effective way to build that trust. I should also add good service.